Hello, friends. Welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy. I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the Niv, and we are in the book of 2 Samuel, and we are in chapter 9, continuing the story of now King David. David and Mephibosheth. Yeah, it's a mouthful. Mephibosheth. I absolutely butchered. David asked, "Is there anyone still left of the house of Saul whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" Because, Jonathan was his bestie. Now, there was a servant of Saul's household named Ziba, Z-I-B-A. They called him to appear before David, and the king said to him, "Are you Ziba?" "Your servant," he replied. The king asked, "Is there no one left of the house of Saul to whom I can show God's kindness?" Ziba answered the king, "There is still a son of Jonathan. He is crippled in both feet." "Where is he?" the king asked. Ziba answered, "He is at the house of Machir, son of Amiel, in Lo-debar." So, Machir, M-A-K-I-R, Amiel, A-M-M-I-E-L, in Lo-debar, L-O, then space, D-E-B-A-R. So King David had him brought from Lo-debar, or Debir, or however you want to say it, Lo-debar, from the house of Machir, son of Amiel. There you go, because this is the guy's name. Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, came to David. He bowed down to pay him honor. David said, "Mephibosheth, your servant," he replied. Don't be afraid," David said to him, "for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table." Mephibosheth bowed down and said, "What is your servant that you should notice a dead dog like me?" Then the king summoned Ziba, Saul's servant, and said to him, "I have given your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. You and your sons and your servants are to farm the land for him and bring in the crops, so that your master's grandson may be provided for. And Mephibosheth, son of your master, will always eat at my table." Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. So that's a lot. Then Ziba said to the king, "Your servant will do whatever my lord the king commands his servant to do." So Mephibosheth ate at David's table, in the Septuagint or Hebrew, my table, like one of the king's sons. Mephibosheth had a young son named Micah, and all the members of Ziba's household were servants of Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth lived in Jerusalem because he always ate at the king's table, and he was crippled in both feet, meaning could not possibly travel back and forth. So he just lived there, so he could always eat with the king. Doesn't really say what's going on with his kid, though, if his kid's with him or not. So, maybe we'll find out. Until the next video, friends. Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy. I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the Niv, and we are in 2 Samuel, chapter 10. Continuing the story of David. David defeats the Ammonites. In the course of time, the king of the Ammonites died. His son, Hanun, Hanun, succeeded him as king. David thought, "I will show kindness to Hanun, son of Nahash, just as his father showed kindness to me." So David sent a delegation to express his sympathies to Hanun concerning his father. When David's men came to the land of the Ammonite nobles said to Hanun, their lord, "Do you think David is honoring your father by sending men to you to express sympathy? Hasn't David sent them to you to explore the city and to spy out and overthrow it?" So Hanun seized David's men, shaved off half of each man's beard. This would be very shameful. Cut off their garments in the middle at the buttocks, basically inviting sexual assault. Okay, and sent them away. To shame. Right? When David was told about this, he sent messengers to meet the men, for they were greatly humiliated. The king said, "Stay at Jericho until your beards have grown, and then come back." When the Ammonites realized that they had become a stench in David's nostrils, they hired 20,000 Aramean foot soldiers from Beth Rehob and Zobah, as well as the king of Maacah, Maacaha, with 1,000 men, and also 12,000 men from Tob. So they started hiring mercenaries. On hearing this, David sent Joab out with the entire army of fighting men. The Ammonites came out and drew up in battle formation at the entrance to their city gate, while the Arameans of Zobah and Rehob and the men of Tob and Maacah were by themselves in the open country. So, throwing them out in front first. Joab saw that there were battle lines in front of him and behind him, so he selected some of the best troops in Israel and deployed them against the Arameans. He put the rest of the men under the command of Abishai. This I do also, another one I know I'm pronouncing right. Abishai, his brother, and deployed them against the Ammonites. Joab said, "If the Arameans are too strong for me, then you come to my rescue. But if the Ammonites are too strong for you, then I will come to rescue you. Be strong, and let us fight bravely for our people and the cities of our God. The Lord will do what is good in his sight." Then Joab and the troops with him advanced to fight the Arameans, and they fled before them. When the Ammonites saw that the Arameans were fleeing, they fled before Abishai and went inside the city. So Joab returned from fighting the Ammonites and came to Jerusalem. After the Arameans saw that they had been routed by Israel, they regrouped. Hadazer, Hadezer, had Arameans brought from beyond the river. That's going to be the Euphrates. They went to Helam, Helam, with Shobach, Shobach, the commander of Hadazar's army, leading them. When David was told this, he gathered all Israel, crossed the Jordan, and went to Halam. The Arameans formed their battle lines to meet David and fought against him, but they fled before Israel. And David killed 700 of their charioteers and 40,000 of their foot soldiers. I got a footnote. Some Septuagint manuscripts, also 1 Chronicles 19:18, and the Hebrew horsemen. Okay, 40,000 horsemen instead of just foot soldiers, or maybe not charioteers, but horsemen. And he also struck down Shobach, the commander of their army, and he died there. When all of the kings who were vassals of Hadazer saw that he had been defeated by Israel, they made peace with the Israelites and became subject to them. Like, we're not going to listen to you anymore. You're clearly not the power in this region. Let's go make peace with the guy who can beat you up. So the Arameans were afraid to help the Ammonites anymore. Okay. So, power politics. And you'll see that some of that, like, we do less wars, but posturing is still posturing. And it goes everywhere. And it pretty much never stops. It was always there, And as long as people want to live in their ego, and positions of power do contain, I'm not saying unnecessarily, do contain a certain amount of ego, there's going to be more. So, hopefully, less war for just ego's sake. Because that was a much bigger problem when we were, well, much younger peoples as a whole. Until the next video, friends. Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy. I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We're in the Niv, and we are in the book of 2 Samuel, and we are in chapter 11, continuing the story of David. And we've come upon the, David with that same, the shades of the same. It's in there, that same sin. David and Bathsheba. In the spring, at the time when kings go off to war, David sent Joab out with the king's army and the whole Israelite army. So, just we'll stop right there. In the spring, at the time when kings go off to war, David sent out Joab. He didn't go with them when kings go out to war. He wasn't where he's supposed to be. That's really where we are, okay? They destroyed the Ammonites and besieged Rabbah, Rabbah. But David remained in Jerusalem. One evening, David got up from his bed and walked around on the roof of the palace, which is going to be the highest building to this, like the palace. Remember, there's no temple yet, so the highest building. From the roof, he saw a woman bathing. Now, I know you're just like, what? But that it was actually relatively normal because you wanted to allow the heat of the sun to, to help you out there with the warmness of the bath water. And there was also a certain level of privacy, actually, because you could go up on the roof when other people were working down below. So it was like, well, others were out of the house. Like, well, the men folk were out of the house. I remember David was where he wasn't supposed to be. One evening, David got up from his bed and walked around on the roof of the palace. From the roof, he saw a woman bathing. The woman was very beautiful, and David sent someone to find out about her. Man's got like a bunch of concubines and wives already. The man said, isn't this Bathsheba, the daughter of Elam, and the wife of Uriah, Uriah, the Hittite? Then David sent messengers to get her. She came to him, and he slept with her. She had purified herself from her uncleanness. That's what she was doing up there. Then you got C, or with her, when she purified herself from her uncleanness, she went back home. The woman conceived and sent word to David saying, I am pregnant. So David sent word to Joab, send me Uriah the Hittite. So this is his soldier. Now, I know part of it is also going to be like, but she did. You don't, when you have a king, you don't have the right to say no. That's treason. You can't say no to anything. without it being treason. Now, whether or not she had a good time or not, I wasn't there, so I wouldn't know. And Joab sent him to David. When Uriah came to him, David asked him how Joab was, how the soldiers were, and how the war was going. Then David said to Uriah, "Go to your house, and wash your feet." So Uriah left the place, and a gift from the king was sent after him. But Uriah slept at the entrance to the palace with all his master's servants and did not go to his house. So David was trying to get him to go home in the hopes that his wife might lay with him and they could convince this man that David's baby was his. Okay? Oh, what a tangled web we weave. So, when David was told Uriah did not go home, he asked, "Haven't you just come from a distance? Why didn't you go home?" But Uriah said to David, "The ark and Israel and Judah are staying in tents, and my master Joab and the Lord's men are camped in open fields. How could I go into my house and eat and drink and lie with my wife? As surely as you live, I will not do such a thing." Then David said to him, "Stay here one more day, and tomorrow I will send you back." So Uriah remained in Jerusalem that day and the next. At David's invitation, he ate and drank with him, and David made him drunk. But in the evening, Uriah went out to sleep on his mat among the master's servants, and he did not go home. In the morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it with Uriah. In it, he wrote, "Put Uriah in the front line where the fighting is the fiercest. Then withdraw from him, so he will be struck down and die." So he's arranging for the man's assassination because he slept with his wife. So while Joab had the city under siege, he put Uriah at the place where he knew the strongest defenders were. When the men of the city came out and fought against Joab, some of the men in David's army fell. Moreover, Uriah the Hittite died. Joab sent a full account of the battle. He instructed the messenger, "When you have finished giving the king this account of the battle, the king's anger may flare up, and he may ask you, 'Why did you get so close to the city to fight? Didn't you know they would shoot arrows from the wall?' Who killed Abimelech, son of Jerub-Besheth, Besheth, also known as Jerubbaal, that is Gideon. Didn't a woman throw an upper millstone on him from a wall so that he died in Thebez, Thebez? Why did you get so close to the wall? If he asks you this, then say to him also, 'Your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead.'" The messenger sent out, and when he arrived, he told David everything Joab had him to say. The messenger said to David, "The men overpowered us and came out against us in the open, but we drove them back to the entrance of the city gate. Then the archers shot arrows at your servants from the wall, and some of the king's men died. Moreover, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead." David told the messenger, "Say this to Joab, 'Don't let this upset you. The sword devours one as well as another. Press the attack against the city and destroy it.' Say this to encourage Joab." So Uriah's wife heard about her husband was dead, and she mourned for him. After the time of mourning was over, David had her brought to his house, and she became his wife and bore him a son. But the thing David had done displeased the Lord. Of course, look at all those broken commandments. King being king didn't take too long, right? Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. So, David, though, does redeem himself. If you want to find out how, you're going to have to come back for the next video, friends. Hello, friends. Bible study. The Niv, John, chapter 13, verses 31 through 38 in this video. It's called Jesus Predicts Peter's Denial. Up to this point, we have had the Last Supper has occurred here, or at least they're at the Last Supper. Judas has already gone out to betray. It's Passover Seder. They're in Jerusalem for the festival. This one's called Jesus Predicts Peter's Denial. When he was gone, Jesus said, "Now the Son of Man," that's Judas, is gone. "Now the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will glorify the Son himself, and will glorify him at once. My children, I will be with you only a little longer," because remember, he knew everything that was going to happen to him. "You will look for me, and just as I told the Jews, so I tell you now, where I am going, you cannot come. A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, all men will know you are my disciples, if you love one another." Simon Peter asked him, "Lord, where are you going?" Jesus replied, "Where I am going, you cannot follow now, but you will follow later." Peter asked, "Lord, why can't I follow you now? I will lay down my life for you." Then Jesus answered, "Will you really lay down your life for me? I tell you the truth, before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times. So, it's easy to say that you're willing to follow anybody till death, right? But these men, when they're going into this, they're still thinking they have a warrior king in front of them. And they're expecting that it's going to be in battle with a sword and let me go swinging, but it's not. That's not how it plays out. It's a large crowd. It's a mob. It's not in battle. There is no glory here. It would just be a martyrdom. And Peter's not prepared for that, so as we know from the other ones, it doesn't play out in that way, where he doesn't do those things. I want to focus more on the, "I have given you the command to love one another." Now, this is a tenet I actually taught to my nieces when they were younger and squabbling, and I can say to the effect of the oldest one is 23 of this group, and the youngest one just turned 19. So I can tell you that in their young adult life, it is a tenet that they still sit with, and that is one of the things that are in here. If somebody is in your tribe, your group, your soul tribe, your family, I don't care how and why you feel bonded to them. It's beautiful you feel bonded to them. It's enough that you feel bonded. You're not supposed to rip them down. The world outside is going to try to rip you down. Satan is going to try to get in, and he's going to try to get in through people around you treating you terrible. How you respond to them and how you feel about you when you're done with that encounter is part of the lessons of the going through life. It is why you're supposed to have your support system. Your family is not meant to rip you apart. No one is supposed to be trying to rip you apart if they're actually walking in the divine light at all, but most especially not those that you trust the most. And if they do, then perhaps you should not trust them the most. Do not rip each other apart. We're meant to build each other up. We're meant to love one another. That's what these words say. You will know a person who is a fellow follower of Christ by how they conduct themselves in the world. They will either be acting with dignity, grace, and respect, breathing life into other people, or they will try to be making people feel less so they can feel more. So as you go about the world today, try to be a good person who lifts others up. Because if we don't put that positive vibration into the world with the love, then how can we ever expect to get it back? Or how can we ever expect to make the world a better place? And that is really what we're supposed to be trying to do. Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy. I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the Niv, and we are in Psalms book 5 and Psalm 118. And in this video, we're doing verses 1 through 18. To hear the conclusion, you're going to have to come back to watch the next video. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Let Israel say, his love endures forever. Let the house of Aaron say, his love endures forever. Let those who fear the Lord say, his love endures forever. In my anguish, I cried to the Lord, and he answered by setting me free. The Lord is with me. I will not be afraid. What can man do to me? The Lord is with me. He is my helper. I will look in triumph on my enemies. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than trust in man. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than trust in princes. All the nations surround me, but in the name of the Lord I cut them off. They surround me on every side, but in the name of the Lord I cut them off. They swarmed around me like bees, but they dried out as quickly as burning thorns. In the name of the Lord I cut them off. I was pushed back and about to fall, but the Lord helped me. The Lord is my strength and my song. He has become my salvation. Shout for joy and victory resound in shouts for joy and victory resound in the tents of the righteous. The Lord's right hand has done mighty things. The Lord's right hand is lifted high. The Lord's right hand has done mighty things. I will not die but live, and will proclaim what the Lord has done. The Lord has chastened me severely, but he has not given me over to death. And to hear how it ends, you're going to have to come back for the next video, friends.